Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for both a spirited and a lighthearted discussion on whatever the moral or theme of their story was. And then we have jokes and things. That's really what happens. We have an update on last week's episode, right, Amanda? The mad change man, the change store, the guy who saw
all the pennies.
Yeah.
I still do not know what the denomination of the coins were or in what level they were, like what increment. Were they pennies, nickels? I don't know. So don't ask me.
I think that's kind of the most essential question, though.
Isn't it? I feel like that's all we care about at this point.
Well, you definitely missold the story last week.
Because it wasn't about the motorcyclist being hit?
You gave us more specifics. Or you wouldn't give them.
Give the update. What happened to this dude?
Oh, he got arrested.
Recap what happened. So basically, a guy was in a car, swiped the motorcycle because he threw change at him.
Don't get the motorcycle off the hook, okay? Like I was banging on the window.
I was going to say, if you want to recap it, you're more than welcome to.
He got knocked off his bike.
Yeah. Basically, car was in the left lane, motorcyclist was in the right lane. Apparently change, which was not caught on camera, was thrown at the motorcyclist, to then which the motorcyclist was like, let me tap on your window and say hello.
And our dude just like, I'm going to run you down.
And he did.
Yeah, that's fair.
Very pointedly drove directly into the motorcyclist and kind of drug his body along with him a little ways.
He lived.
Some guy knocks on my window while I'm driving. I'm hitting him. I'm backing up. I'm making sure.
You don't have a license anymore, do you? You're a Chicago boy.
No.
Well, now we know why he lives in Chicago.
You got to defend yourself. It's hard out there in the streets.
I know. He got charged, though, right?
Yeah.
The driver of the car, arrested. Not the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. And the motorcyclist
What kind of trouble was the motorcycle guy in?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that he got in any trouble. I mean, he did show himself with a child in his video, so of course he's the saint.
Yeah, I know. I do that too. You know what? I once killed a man. I had a baby in my arms, though. They were like, oh, well, he's good.
I don't know that they really are just like, yeah, let's just continue and let you hold a baby.
I mean, at least now he has money for a vending machine, and that's really what's important.
He barely had money for the tollway if he was going to Illinois, I'll tell you that.
That's just a weird connection. That feels like somebody has an issue with the toll.
$8 to get through 2 tolls.
The change is important yet again because you can't put pennies into a vending machine.
That's true. So we need to know, was it quarters? Was it pennies? Was it nickel? What were they throwing? Maybe they
was he hooking a brother up and the motorcycle guy was like, that's not enough, and he got mad. So the guy was like, you know what, I'm just gonna lay this guy out.
You know, suddenly I'm on the car side. I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, well, this is a new episode. We just want to give you an update. And if you want more information on that, you can go to the post for Rage on smirkpodcast.com, and there's the video, and you can watch that nonsense
the
live.
Video and the update to the article is in there, too.
They're both there. But this week is new. It's my story this week. I'm going to time it to a holiday like I did with Easter. You're welcome.
You really like your holidays, don't you?
I do.
So you're just like, what holiday? What?
Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day.
Oh, sorry. When?
It's May 13th.
It's a holiday to everybody else. I think every day is Mother's Day because I love my mom. Some people don't acknowledge it because they're agnostic. I don't know what. Sad, mommy issues, whatever it is. Not everybody celebrates the way I do, but it's Mom's Day. So I want to tell a mother story about being a mom and the importance of being a mother and what a mother can bring to the table.
You sound like you want to be a mother.
I do.
Are you a mother?
I'm lactating right now.
Oh, that's...
Zach is very interested in that. Yeah, there's a range of emotions.
Yeah, I'm going through a lot over here.
I have nipples. Can you milk me, Greg?
No.
Stop referencing me. Every time I talk to you, Aaron, you're referencing me to parents.
It's a good... I'm touching my nipples right now. All right, it's getting weird.
It's getting very weird.
Are you guys ready for my Mother's Day story?
So we can get off the topic of your nipples?
Yes. And it's kind of like a spin-off of my previous tale, so that should be interesting.
So more people dying.
Your own universe.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a Smirk universe tale, is what it is. It's in the same kind of general area.
Same serial killer?
Maybe. You never know.
Oh, the Smirk verse.
Varse?
Shut up. That's what wrote Aaron.
Are we all from Texas now? This is Mark Verse. All right. Are you guys ready for my story?
Throw on your cowboy boots and your
right.
hat. Let's do this.
Yeehaw, I'm going to tell y'all a story.
Smirk Vars, Volume 2.
It's been 3 days since little Sadie Wilkins disappeared. And what a harrowing few days it has been. The neighborhood was still in a heightened state of panic ever since Sadie went missing while playing alone in her backyard. Sadie's parents were diligent, though, canvassing the area day and night. They still had hope in their eyes. For Missy Jenkins, though, hope was gone. Countless hours of Law & Order reruns had relentlessly taught her that if Sadie hadn't been found in the first 24 hours, the likelihood that she could still be alive was minuscule at best. But this being Sadie really hit home for Missy. She and her husband Bill had been friends with the Wilkins family for years. While their son Jeff was a few years older than Sadie, they had always been friends, even playing numerous times in her own backyard. She couldn't fathom losing Jeff, and the pain Bob and Stacy must be going through right now. Missy continued cleaning the house. Though it seemed odd to Bill that she would remain committed to her regimented cleaning schedule, Missy was desperately clinging to any semblance of normalcy. Was it wrong, she wondered, that while Bill and Jeff combed the area looking for any sign of Sadie, that she remained home cleaning? Did it make her an awful mother, or friend, to remain inside the safety of her own home? Would anyone understand the truth of her situation, that she was terrified to go outside, petrified of what horrors are obviously lurking in their very neighborhood? Regardless, she continued, focused solely on the task at hand, keeping her life active and her family safe. Jeff was with Bill or Missy at all times, so she knew nothing would happen to him. But dear God, what if whatever happened to Sadie had instead happened to her boy? He's 14 now, but he's such a little adventurer, always roaming the area looking for something crazy to do. Suddenly, Missy caught a reflection of herself in the hall mirror. Yes, you're going to have to keep Jeff indoors all summer now. It needs to be done. To protect the child, sacrifices must be made. This is what mothers do, Missy said under her breath. She finally arrived at Jeff's room and marveled at the disaster that lay before her. How could a teenager so sweet and intelligent also be so damn lazy? Missy sighed and began picking up after what was obviously an indoor tornado. She worked her way around the room, slowly realizing Jeff's summer would easily be full if she started assigning cleaning duties to him. Actually, she thought, what a wonderful idea. She finally arrived at Jeff's bed, the trusty old waterbed that she and Bill had used for many years, before finally saving enough money to upgrade. She began tucking in the Star Wars sheets when the water hit her fingers. Great, Missy thought. The last thing we need right now is to deal with a leaky waterbed. Which made Missy think again. Does it make her a bad person to buy furniture at the same time her friends and family are desperately searching for a missing child? She digressed. Not wanting a waterfall on her solid oak staircase, Missy grabbed some waterproof tape from the hall closet and began to pull the waterbed mattress up to plug the hole. Immediately, she froze. Missy looked around the room, trying to gather her bearings, then returned her gaze to the mattress. Rather, what was under the mattress. The details made little sense, but she recognized the soft, innocent features immediately. Lying here, on Jeff's bed frame, surrounded by the gelatinous mound of a waterbed mattress, was the lifeless body of Sadie Wilkins. Missy brought her hand to her mouth in shock, and it was then that she noticed it. That wasn't water on her hands. It was blood. It was Sadie's blood. Missy slowly backed away, stunned. What do I do, she thought. The ramifications of every decision flooded her mind. Jeff's future, Bill and Missy's marriage, the looks from neighbors, everything took over her mind. She took a last look at Sadie, her sweet, adoring face, lost to a horrendously bleak fate. Missy closed her eyes for what seemed like an eternity. She took a deep breath and exhaled. She gathered her composure and walked confidently down the stairs. She opened the front door and walked outside. The police and her fellow neighbors were still out en masse. She took a look to her right and caught the eye of Jeff up the road. He smiled. That smile she's loved since the moment she first saw it as he first left her womb. She smiled back and gave him a nod, her indication to him that everything was going to be all right. Jeff turned back to fruitlessly assist his dad and the search party. Missy stepped into the street and sternly walked toward an officer. He glanced up at her and asked, "Yes, ma'am. What can I do for you?" She took one last look at Jeff, a lifetime of memories flooding her mind. Again, Missy took a breath, turned back to the officer, and said, "I'm going to need you to come with me."
So what you're telling me is that he's been sleeping on his parents' bed that they had sex in every day?
That's
for
what you
years?
took away from the story.
Yeah, they got issues.
Just trying to check that. Also, I totally didn't expect that. I guess I should have, because you said it was related, similar to the other one, but I didn't expect
For every
him
holiday
to-
of murder.
Yeah, right?
Murder brings family together. Really.
What is Christmas going to bring us this
You
year?
have no idea, but Santa better watch out. Better watch out. See, like that twist, did you?
Yeah.
It was like the Bates family.
Yeah, I like that.
It was a good one. I give you props for that.
I see you're a fan of the twist.
It's a pretty dark twist, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was into it.
I know it seems like a harsh tale, but what do you think the moral or theme of my story was? Zach?
Mom's gonna sell you out.
Okay.
Probably something about how parenting, I don't know, just how parenting takes a toll on you. And you, as a parent, and this isn't obviously going to be as concise or succinct as what you might have written down, but something to the effect of how to be a good parent, you sometimes have to do things that you don't want to do.
That's good. Zach, do you want to rephrase your answer, or are you still going with Mom's going to sell you out?
Your folks gonna sell you out.
Can you turn that into a rap, please?
I think
Mama gonna sell you out. Folks gonna
That's gotta
sell
be.
you out.
That's gotta be a song somewhere.
the moral of my story is you cannot protect your children from themselves.
Mm.
You don't think maybe it's her fault?
I mean, potentially there's a whole psychological study that I'm sure could be referenced there that I don't have handy. But yeah, it could be her fault. I don't know what happened with her. Maybe she was beating him every night. It could happen, but I don't think so. My story, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, her first idea when a kid got married was, I'm going to shut my kid inside the entire summer. That's not healthy.
Yeah, but she was scared for her child. The first reaction a parent has is to protect their child. So
I'm saying is she ain't thinking rationally.
It's true. That's possible.
So if this is a lifetime of decision making, maybe Jeff never had a chance.
Maybe.
Maybe
Saying.
Jeff's old enough to know right from wrong and not to murder little Sadie.
Well, not if his
and put
parents
her
didn't
under
teach him.
his bed.
Isn't it like one of the first things you learn just in general?
Be nice to other people.
Not kill people?
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure if your dad's a crook, he's going to teach you to think that you should steal.
Okay, so you're saying Mom's obviously a serial killer.
No,
She's
I'm
the
saying,
one from the
I'm
Easter
saying
story.
Maybe don't blame Jeff right away.
Maybe Jeff has psychological issues. That seems more likely. I mean,
brought on by his unfortunate childhood.
wow. All right, well,
Now, his behavior could be tied to what he learned growing up, but that doesn't excuse the behavior that he does elicit. That's his choice that he's making. You make a conscious choice to act on the thoughts and the things that you do. If he has some sort of a mental illness, now we're into a different topic of conversation.
fine.
If he has like schizophrenia or something.
good thing about our show, we just randomly go wherever.
But if he has something like that, then I think we're in a different conversation. But for somebody to just be kind of a narcissistic murderer or psychopath, it's just, or sociopath, depending on the type of situation and how he murdered this girl, I don't know. I feel like he still is responsible for his choices.
Maybe Sadie came at him.
What does that have to do with anything? You still don't murder people.
In self-defense, sure. And you get scared, you hide the body.
Yeah, like an 8-year-old's going to come at him hard and
I
fast.
don't know what she's up to.
I mean, I do
This
think...
isn't the Karate Kid, okay?
Yeah, it's
Take it back.
14 years old. You know better. You know better. You should know better. And if you don't, I mean, you're going to have to stand trial, Jeff. I'm sorry, buddy. That's just the way it's going to go.
The thing is, he knew it was wrong because he hid the body.
Yep.
If you didn't think
If
it was wrong,
Yep, I agree
you
with that.
would not have hid it. And also under your bed, like that's got to reek at some point. You haven't thought about the consequences of how nasty that's going to smell?
So Jeff's also dumb.
That too.
I feel like you're picking apart my character and his journey. All right?
His journey to homicidal maniac.
Hey,
Well-
there's an origin story for everyone.
That's true. In this story, Missy learns of a missing child and in turn begins to become terrified herself, becoming a recluse in the process. So my first question is, when tragedy hits a neighborhood, is that a reasonable response?
No.
How so?
No.
What would you do different if it was your
It is
neighborhood?
irrational. People do this all the time. Oh, there's a shooting in my neighborhood. Oh my God, what else could happen? It's one thing that's happened in now however many decades. Your first instinct is not, oh my God, it's going to happen to me. You're riding the subway and the train derails, but it's the line you always use. And so people are like, oh, well, now I guess I have to start taking the bus. No, you don't. It's one train. You're not thinking rationally. You're thinking irrationally.
You're also referencing situations that are more accidental. This is an intentional situation.
So even a homicide, you think you just assume that because one person is murdered that now your whole family is at stake?
You should definitely have concern if it's happening pretty close to home. Obviously, she should be concerned because her son was the murderer.
Right. Well, your concern should not be, well, now I'm not going to let my kid outside.
No. I'm not saying that it's healthy the way that she responded, but to have that concern is not irrational, I don't think, in any capacity. I think that's pretty normal to have that fear instilled. That's also partly why some people do the things that they do, because they want to instill that fear in people. They want to see it happen. And when they can see it happen in their community, maybe they were bullied and they were taught to fear. So then their response was to make others fear. And that is a prime way to do it. And it's a valid way to do it. I mean, that's a bad way. Ooh, backtrack. It is an easy way to get people to be afraid. Now, there's obviously better ways you can handle your situation, but...
I mean, I kind of got lost in what you said there.
Yeah,
sorry,
I did too, a
is
little bit.
fear a good thing? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not. See, this is why I was backtracking.
It's a healthy response?
No, fear is normal, especially in these circumstances. But the way that she handled her fear is not healthy. I don't think her response, she should have been able to kind of take a step and look at herself and go, is really locking my child into a prison going to be the best way for them? Or could I maybe teach them things to like self-defense or, this is a good escape plan if you're ever stuck in a situation. Like what if somebody
take stronger security measures?
Right. Like there are alternatives to protecting
or maybe don't.
Wow.
You start putting bars in the window because someone got killed?
No, but I'm talking about having the conversation with the child and making them aware of these situations are happening. Here's what you can do to protect yourself. If you
Sounds like you're putting the fear of God into them.
Wow, this is an interesting debate. I didn't even realize I was going to go here.
I don't think it's to put the fear of God into them, but to make them aware. Not to say that children are taken because they're not aware, but children who are aware, or people in general who are more aware, are less inclined to have those things happen to them because they can alert themselves to red flags and signs.
Don't get in the van.
Right. If you see somebody if you're naive about everything, or you just don't
Zach
know.
has gone on the record that he would actually get in the van. I think you have too for Twizzlers. Yeah. So
me for Twizzlers? I would do it for like a Hershey's Cookies and Cream.
That's right. Tell the listeners, because there's that one guy's listening who's got a van and he's looking.
I mean,
he'll bring a king size though. So yeah,
that'll get me real quick. Cheese.
I mean, I get to a degree what Amanda's saying. She's saying, there's nothing wrong with. Okay, we were maybe naive to begin with. Now we need to prepare you for the realities of life. But you think, Zach, that's still too far. Let them enjoy it.
It just sounds like you're being incredibly reactionary.
How would you handle it? Your neighborhood, someone gets kidnapped or murdered or something, or gets murdered in your neighborhood.
All right. Well, so it was a missing case. It was a missing persons case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I see it on the news. I turn to my kid, like, man, that's messed up.
That's the extent?
I might be like, hey, make sure you're nice to Mr. and Mrs. whatever. But like, yeah.
You wouldn't have a follow-up conversation with them. Like, hey, little Billy, by the way.
Your friend Sadie that you've known for however many years.
Well, why is this 14-year-old a friend with an 8-year-old?
Their families are friends.
Their families are friends. That happens.
That's a little different.
Nobody said they're sleeping together. Don't make it weird.
Let's not go there. That's just uncomfortable.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. They are allowed to interact with each other. Their families put them in that position.
Okay, so they're the same age. Whatever. Your son's friend goes missing. Yeah. Then would you have a different conversation?
I might say, like, let's go look for him.
You're really not concerned with safety at all. You're just like, you know what? Hopefully I've taught him life skills. It should be all right.
I think we live in a fear-mongering culture, and I don't want to play into it, Aaron. All
right. I think he's answered the question.
What's your answer? How do you feel?
I am somewhere in... I understand both degrees. I do think we are a fear-mongering culture. I think we, unfortunately, panic over everything. I do think it's the wrong reaction to hear that someone's missing and then immediately You start barricading the doors and putting bars in the windows and putting security cameras up and everything else. I mean, if you were worried about that, you should have done that before that's ever happened, would be my first concern. And second, I grew up in a neighborhood that was really, really bad. And there were constantly break-ins and there were constantly robberies and there were constantly acts of violence. So you get accustomed to it in a way, and you have to, it's more important to me to teach your kids self-reliance and what to do long before this ever becomes an issue so that they are prepared for it. It doesn't always happen. People get lackadaisical or life gets in the way and that sort of thing. I probably would be more, hey, remember all that stuff I told you? Remember that, because that's what happened. That would be that guy. See, I told you. I would be that guy. That's what I would do. But I wouldn't want them to be petrified of going outside because I want them to have a life. You know, I don't want them to. What's the point of living if you're just stuck inside looking outside?
You're right.
All right.
You only get one life.
That's right, man. I live at a quarter mile at a time.
Family.
All right, next question. Missy also began debating if she would keep her child indoors all summer because they were unaware what happened to Sadie. Does that seem reasonable to you at all? I mean, that's kind of, I guess we already alluded to it, but would you understand where she's coming from?
I think as a fearful parent, I can understand that feeling and wanting to protect them in that way, but I cannot rationalize actually acting on that and legitimately giving into the idea of, I'm going to protect you so much better than anything or anyone else ever could, so you're just going to stay locked in this house for the rest of your life. I feel like that's kind of how you create serial killers, by not letting them socialize.
See, it was his childhood, wasn't it?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because she was waiting for anything that'll point him back to, I knew it!
Oh, man. Okay. Anyway. I think that there's just so many other ways that you could handle that situation to feel like you are protecting your child, but not taking away their sanity, their life, and everything else that's associated to them. Their identity, their social skills, their development. They're stuck inside, like not that they have like a working job, but to them it seems like a working job to be sitting in school for 6 to 8 hours a day while you're at work. And they don't get to do anything else outside of it because they're just buried in homework assignments. Or if they do track and field, they have practice or whatever else they have going on. They get their summers to relax. They don't get vacation time like adults do. So their summers are their time off to do something, to expand themselves, learn something new, do something new, meet new people, have a life before they actually get into adulthood. And as we all know, don't really get the time to do the things that they want to do. So by taking that away from them, I feel like you're taking their identity away from them. You're ridding them of that chance to experience and learn about themselves and become the people that they could become, turn into.
But they won't get snatched.
But if they, even if...
I'm just kidding. I got what you're saying. What about you, Zach? How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I feel like I answered it in the last question, right? That's utterly ridiculous. The thought shouldn't even cross your mind, if you ask me.
Really? What if it was like a teenage snatching going on in your neighborhood where they just keep picking off 14-year-old kids and yours happens to be a 14-year-old kid? Then would you say, you know what? Maybe you should stay inside, Billy?
Well, then you put a little makeup. You make a little scar so that way they don't want to take them.
Give them a Harry Potter mark.
You have some weird
You get
solutions.
a lightning bolt. You get a lightning bolt and you get a lightning bolt.
No, I mean, not a lightning bolt. You're going to attract he who must not be named if you do that. That's bad news.
Yep. I see what's going on here. This is a whole bunch of nerd stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess as the volume increases, your concern goes up, but I'm still not keeping my kid indoors.
No, definitely not. I agree with you on that.
Here's the truth. I would let him go outside and play and everything else, but I would know where that SOB was at all times. At all times. It'd be like, you're going to be checking in whether you like it or not. I don't care if that makes you feel like I'm overwhelming. I don't care. Call me. Let me know where you are. I want to see you. Period. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Are you speaking from experience as a parent?
That's just how I would handle it. Yeah. I mean, if I'm worried about my kids, I want to know where the hell you're at. Stop. No. Where you at? You're supposed to call me half an hour ago. Guess you're grounded. Nice day for you. Guess now you're indoors all summer.
That's an absurd reaction.
New phone, who dis?
See, basically, here's how you play.
WID.
Here's a parenting tip for you guys. If you have little children or something like that, here's what you do. If you want to keep them indoors all summer because you're worried or you want to be a fear-mongering parent, whatever, don't do it right off the bat. Give them some obscure curfew or some weird thing they're not going to remember. Make sure you call me at 11:53, and if you don't call me, you're grounded. And then when they call you at 1:30, because that's exactly what'll happen, you ground them for the whole summer. Problem solved, and it's on them.
Wow,
Bam!
That's a serious manipulation tactic you're utilizing there.
Pretty sure.
Sounds like you're in the process of raising serial killers.
Pretty sure if you call it 11:53, you're fine. So it's really on the kid.
Which is what he said to Sadie right before he slaughtered her.
Wow.
The same, mate. Just like Dad used to do.
Honestly, what if it wasn't him? What if Dad in the family? What is his name?
Oh, you
Bill?
put a twist on this,
Billy?
right?
What if he's the one who did it and he hid it in that bed?
Or what if Sadie's parents did it and they're such good friends they stashed a body up there anyway?
Oh my God. You guys are creepy.
No, those parents are.
That's a way to
Or
take a
Bill.
story. That's
why Jeff was smiling so innocently. He has no idea what's going on.
He's like, Mom, what do you mean? We're looking for little Sadie.
I can't believe she narked on him, though. That's messed up.
That's the final question, okay? So Missy learns of her son's actions. Obviously, she finds the body in the bed. And there's...
Allegedly her son's actions.
Allegedly finds his, figures out that it's him. And she has to make a choice. She either has to let him go and help him stash the body, or she has to turn him over to the police. Did she make the right one by going to the cops? And does that make her a good mother or an awful one? It's a deeper question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zach.
Well, okay. Well, you said it makes her a good mother or an awful mother.
Answer honestly.
I mean, it makes her both. I guess it depends on your moral compass. That's certainly the right thing to do, is probably to tell the police officer and get justice for the slaughtered 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Would I? I don't think so.
Really? Snitches get stitches and all that jive?
Yeah. There's just something about, I know he's done wrong.
Pretty sure this is admissible in court testimony.
I know it's probably my fault for raising him that way, obviously.
You legitimately believe that, don't you? You legitimately believe that.
What? Yeah.
That it falls on the parent's parenting.
That if this happened, you had some part. The parent had some part in it.
Yeah, I don't believe you are born evil.
Okay.
Nature versus nurture, as it were.
Okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, the idea of turning in your 14-year-old son for murder, I know you should, but I don't think I could.
It's a hard decision.
I think I'd go grab my wife and be like, hey, we got some lime.
I would call my lawyer.
Salt.
The first thing.
Call your lawyer first?
Call a lawyer, because you're going to want to protect your child somehow. You don't want them to, and you don't know like I said, you don't know for certain that it was them. More than likely, it was probably him.
You found the body under the mattress of their bed.
That doesn't mean it wasn't somebody else in the
household.
household.
It was planted?
It could have been.
That's a very elaborate frame.
You know what? You wait at home, you wait in his room, and you wait for him to come home. And then you ask him about it. And you say, what's going on? Why'd you do it? All this, all that. And then you ask him, now, what do you think's going to happen next? And then you figure it out. But eventually you're going to go bury the body.
A lot of horror movies start this way.
And that's when the parent dies.
Yeah.
No, because the parent's on his side in this scenario.
I don't think...
Give him the opportunity to turn himself in?
No, give him the opportunity to tell you why he killed her. And then be like, all right, well, obviously, obviously you can carry her, so let's take her out back.
So you would be Dexter's dad?
Yeah, I guess. I really hadn't made that connection till now. Yes, you own his ability to kill and a force for good. So off serial killers.
Or you could
Please understand his sarcasm in this statement. All right, Amanda, what would you do?
Or you could just call your lawyer, have your lawyer arrive, have your lawyer then reach out to the police officer and tell them that the body was found, that a body was found. Don't even say that it was Sadie's, because you don't need to be making those assumptions. And let them do what they need to in that house. And then from that point, while you're waiting from the lawyer, you can give your child the opportunity, hey, do you want to turn yourself in? And have that conversation with a lawyer. Because I feel like regardless, he's going to need that. And he's going to need to, what if it was an accident?
Bottom line, would you turn that kid in? Would you turn your son or daughter in?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to tell the police. But I would probably still try to get them some...
Try to help them as much as you would, as you could.
Not necessarily for... There are a lot of things, a lot of variables that can go into it. And realistically, she could even be brought into it as a parent. She could be brought into it. If they have other children, they could be brought into it. Like, it could get really nasty really fast. And anything that kid says from that point on is going to be used against him. So if he's not aware of it and a lawyer isn't there, then it's just going to make it that much worse. I would much rather them have a lawyer. I'm probably still going to want my kid to go to jail or at least get some mental health counseling. And I would absolutely recommend that, like, as a parent, because regardless of how much you care about your child, imagine if that was your child who was slaughtered.
Absolutely.
You went through all of those emotions when you thought it could have been your kid. Imagine how those parents are feeling. Your friends, probably your family friends. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, I feel like it's too selfish to only think about how will I feel? Well, that kid doesn't have a future now, and their parents their lives are completely ruined for the rest of their lives. It's about more than just you and your kid.
I think she just laid down a gauntlet on you.
Hey, man, when it comes to family, you think selfishly. You think about your family first.
You can think about them first by getting them a lawyer before you turn them in.
My answer would be similar. It would be to definitely turn them in. My kid robs a bank. All right, you know what? Maybe I can work with you on here. No,
what if he gives you half?
I didn't see no money. Huh?
What if he gives you half? That's a good deal then. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's fine. So robbing a bank, I could probably work a way around that. But murdering a child, there's no way I could get around that. That would definitely be, I would probably do the lawyer angle. And I would probably take Zach's advice where I would talk to the kid first and be like, all right, sit down. But I would probably be packing when I had that conversation because obviously I don't know my child as well as I thought. And I want to be clear that we're clear. That would be the conversation. It would be a very weird moment, but I would definitely have a sit down and be like, all right, we're going to call the police, but I'm getting you a lawyer. And da-da-da. And by the way, are you sure Dad's not framing you? I guess I would ask the question.
You got to clear Dad.
Just to follow up real quick, you find out that your kid did this. You turn your kid in, and it's a horrible thing. And he's obviously damaged in some way, whether you had a part in it or not.
You did.
Would you? Because a lot of parents, they go through this where their kids are accused of horrible crimes or something, and they know they're guilty. They still spend a fortune, their entire life savings, on lawyers to try to get them out of this trouble. Do you do that, or do you say, you know what, you did a horrible thing? You're on your own. I'm not going to pay for. I'm not going to lose everything I worked for this.
I'm gonna give you a starter lawyer. Okay, so we're taking from your college fund because you clearly don't have anything to aspire to now.
Wow.
So here's your money that you were going to have for college. Here's a lawyer to start it out, to get you going. You better hope that this... you better
get the punch card worked out before you can upgrade.
You better hope that this gets resolved very quickly, so that way your fees are at a minimum. But I'm not going to pay to get somebody a smaller sentence for murder. It's 100% not going to happen. I don't really care if it's my kid or not. And it may be different if I were actually put in that situation. I may have a harder time struggling with those emotions because I do have them. But I don't think that I could actually go through with it because I think I would constantly be thinking about how does that family feel? Their child is gone and that's my kid's fault. And in that sense, I would wholeheartedly take blame, part blame on me, and it would be on my shoulders. So I would always feel that guilt of, you see it all the time, where somebody gets off so easily. That rapist who got off with probation, basically, and his family, he originally had fled the country.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't remember his name right now. It doesn't deserve to be recognized. Anyway, you see those situations all the time where people get almost no time after they're convicted for harming somebody else. And I would not want to be that parent. I think I would feel more failed as a parent to allow them to coddle them into getting out of whatever punishment they deserve for intentionally harming another person.
Child's memory through the mud.
Right. I just don't think I could do that.
What about you, Mr. Family? Would you give up everything you worked for?
I mean, I probably don't have money in this scenario. So I mean, it's probably not much of a choice. Also, with the way I handle things, if the body is discovered, then I'm going to need a lawyer too. So it's rough.
That's a good call. Yeah, I'm not going broke over something like that. No, sorry. Obviously, I'm sorry I didn't hug you when you were 8, but I'm not going broke over it. You know what I'm saying? You're old enough.
I'm going to ask you guys a question that's perhaps it's related, and you can cut this if it gets too weird. But so you guys both thought that at 14 he absolutely has the understanding to know what he did was wrong, right?
If he does not have schizophrenia or something like that, if he doesn't have a serious,
I would have him mentally
illness,
evaluated.
Well, yes.
But you think that 14 is an
Yes.
age to know about murder?
Yes.
I think so.
So why is it when something like this happens, like a 14-year-old murders somebody, then it's like, well, he was old enough to know what he was doing. But then if a 14-year-old has sex with somebody, then it's, well, he has no idea what he's doing.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I think children at about the age of 9 in this society should be made aware of, should have the talk. People refuse to even have the conversation of how babies are made until children are
How are they made? The bird
Love,
drops them
love.
off.
Love. It's when one person loves another. Just kidding. You don't need that there anymore.
Love and storks.
And storks. But I mean, I feel like a lot of people try to push that conversation out and act like it's not happening with somebody who's that young. So if they're not even aware that this is a conversation that should be happening, how can you expect them to know about consent? You should be having the conversation with them. And every child works differently. Every biological being is different in terms of when they begin to hit their puberty. But I will tell you, neurologically speaking, like neuroscience speaking,
I don't think we're going to get to talk anytime soon, Zach.
you will in just a second. It'll be right back to you, Aaron. Your body has been developing those sexual desires for years as you were growing up. As you were being made, it was being developed. Just because they are not fully exhibited until you're about 9 to 12 years old, depending on your body type, doesn't mean that that conversation shouldn't be happening.
His question was really based on consent. Why is it you have to be 17 to consent? I assume that's where you were going with it?
Right. Well, yeah, I was just thinking, like, you know, in the news cycles, right? If a 14-year-old murders someone, then he should be tried as an adult. But if a 14-year-old does something sexual, then he should be considered a kid in the scenario. It's just the violence and sex divide that we always have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree. I do think there is a maturity difference. Sexuality is I don't know. I mean, the urge to murder is something that I think if you have it and you don't understand, I don't know, man. That is a little, I'm trying to get into that same debate. I've got it in my head, so I get where you're coming from.
You've got desires to murder people in your head?
No,
well,
everybody does. I'm trying to, I just know that it's wrong. So
I've never wanted to murder somebody.
Oh, well, then you never been in love. That's
Then
what
you're
Chris
not a
Rock
human
said.
being. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I've been angry with somebody where I might want to punch them or something, but I can't say that I've ever actually thought about, like, how would I get rid of your body?
Ooh.
How would I do this?
You never thought, boy, it sure would be great if my boss got hit by a bus right now.
No, I like my boss. I've always had really good bosses.
I'm talking that's weird.
In theory, he's just saying.
I know. I'm just saying, even in the worst case scenario.
Well, in Amanda's perfect world, everything coming up, Amanda.
No,
It's
we've
never
had
had
this
to happen.
conversation. I don't believe that I have the explicit right to determine who lives or who dies.
We got it.
Even in this situation. I mean, to even ask you guys.
When it comes to going back, you had your time. Shush
I was going to
for a
ask you
minute.
another question.
Now, back to trying to answer his original question. The consent issue is a different issue, I think, because parents see it a different way. Murder is so black and white, you know it's wrong, period. There's no getting there. Sexuality is a lot more nuanced. I think there's a lot more to discuss and to debate and to go into. And I do think someone, while they have an understanding of sexuality, I don't think you have the maturity to understand those choices you make and how they affect your body and babies and pregnancy and everything else necessarily as strongly at 14 as you would at 18. But I would also say at 14, you definitely already should know that murder is wrong, period. There's no gray area. I think with sexuality, there's more of a gray area.
I wonder.
Might be a parent cop-out, too.
Yeah.
Might be parent cop-out.
Or it's probably a bigger conversation for a different day.
Yeah, that'd be a whole episode. And then Amanda can keep talking, and she can just get her own segment. It's like Amanda Talks, Biology 101.
Yeah, if you're playing the Smirk drinking game at home, Amanda did mention sexual assault, so you do have to take your shot.
Fair. All right. Now, each week we would try to debate if the story was truth or fiction. Do you think my story was truth or fiction? Amanda?
Oh, I really hope that is fiction.
Zach?
You know what? I know it's actually a story from my childhood, so it's got to be truth.
That story...
I'm kidding, it's fiction.
Okay. That story is absolutely truth.
What?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Who is Jeff? How do you know Jeff?
Can't be telling people my personal business like this.
No. Joshua Phillips murdered young Maddie Clifton and hid her under a waterbed, and his mother found the body under the waterbed. While checking his room, she then turned him over to the police.
She
so it
ratted
wasn't
him
bad.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Yep.
I guess nobody framed him.
So the clever waterbed twist was not your own.
It was not, but I couldn't say that, obviously. It would give away this twist now.
Man, I thought you were the second coming of Hitchcock for a moment.
You're like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Little did you know, you were just applauding a frickin' murderer. Good job.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's complicated.
Yeah, it was.
Truth is stranger than fiction, they say.
You can actually hear about the whole case if you ever listen to Sword and Scale, episode 112. They cover the whole thing.
Of course it came from a true crime podcast.
How is that not something?
Of course.
And
okay.
if you're playing the Smirk drinking game at home, there's your shot for Aaron mentioning true crime podcast.
I don't know if we've gone into this before. Aaron has a sick, and I mean sick, obsession with true crimes podcasts. I know he messages people, including myself, to make sure they're okay, specifically to check and see if they're okay, because he's been listening to a true crimes podcast.
There's a lot of evil out there. I care about everyone.
Is this why I occasionally get texts from Aaron? They're like, just, how are you doing?
Yep.
So make sure I'm still breathing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that and I care. I care about what's going on in everybody's day.
Well, you are considerate in that way, but I mean, you specifically have cited your sources. I was listening to this true crimes podcast. I just want to make sure that you are aware to be careful at all times.
You should see the things my wife gets, man. It's always like, hey, did you check the window? Check the frame. Did you check that gutter outside?
I was listening to a podcast, and at 23 minutes and 2 seconds, they mentioned that the window is broken in from the right side of the house. So we're getting rid of the right side of the house.
It's very, very similar. But anyway, that was a true case. I thought, hey, just in time for Mother's Day.
You're not very good at this Mother's Day love thing.
You know what? I already know my mom's awesome. I don't need to tell that story, so I'll tell this one.
I guess.
Do you think she'll like this as a gift?
Can you just imagine them being that? I mean, I don't feel bad because that's what the show is, but just imagine that. Having to be that mom, and that's a real thing where you have to go out. And she did the right thing. I mean, she did it right away.
I don't know if she did the right thing. But.
Well, obviously, we see different things.
Everybody has their own moral compass.
Yeah.
Zach's is kind of offline.
But that was a true story about they
nice.
were friends and played with each other, too. And
wow.
She was 8 and he was 14.
Did they cite any reasons for, like, why he said he did it at all?
He said it was an accident.
How?
Sounds like you don't believe him.
I don't at all. No. You have to hear the whole case to really form an opinion.
Like stab her or something?
You have to hear the whole case to form an opinion. We're not going into that because we're not making this a true crime podcast. I'm just letting you know it's Sword and Scale 112. You can go listen to it if you really want to know. So that's the details. But yeah, that's a true story.
It's not
Sword and Scale like Lady Justice.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's cool. That's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good hook. I mean, he's doing all right. He's going to get a TV show, I think, out of his podcast. Where's Smirk's TV
Yeah,
show?
why are you giving them more of our listeners?
I can't wait for us to be on True TV at like 11:30 at night. That would be on a Friday. That would be our spot.
That would be great. That would be great.
Hey, Aaron, I was wondering what the title of your story was.
It's A Mother's Choice.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
People are going to think that this is about like abortion or something, I think, when they see the title of it.
They're going to be sorely mistaken. As our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. Join the conversation by joining our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter @SmirkPodcast, and be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk on your podcast app of choice and check out our website at SmirkPodcast.com. All right. We're going to roll out of here.
Room.
As you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk.
And And live at 60 seconds or a quarter mile.
What?
Gone in 60 Seconds? No one references that movie.
Oh, I actually
Live
really
at
like
a
that movie.
quarter mile at a time.
But I started thinking about okay, I need to watch different movies.
Drink Corona.
I was going to make a joke about VDD. What would Vin Diesel do?
What would Vin Diesel do?
Talk about himself?
Yep.
Vin Diesel writes into Smirk his story. He's like, I had it hard. I'm sorry. This guy Joe had it real hard.